2022 has been a frustrating season for growers. Wet weather has disrupted harvesting operations, workforce shortages have led to delays, and poor mill performance has extended the season length. One positive has been the steady climb of the world sugar price. However, even this has been overshadowed by the ever-rising cost of farm inputs, especially fertiliser. Cane growers visited Damien Zeebarth on his cane farm in the Tweed Valley to understand more about the world of fertiliser. As a boy, Damien grew vegetables on the family farm in the Lockyer Valley before qualifying as an engineer. He's since worked around the world, most notably as operations manager for fertiliser giant Incitec Pivot and almost a decade as general manager of operations at QSL. This has given him a unique perspective on how the fertiliser industry works.
We'll start firstly with the cost of manufacturing fertiliser. Ammonia-based fertilisers, that's urea, is based on natural gas. Approximately 80% of the price of manufacturing fertiliser is natural gas. We've all seen in the media over the last 6 to 12 months where natural gas prices have gone. So that has put a massive lift in the manufacturing price of fertiliser, to the point where it started to impact on the manufacturing capacity. So the next part is, well, who's manufacturing fertiliser at the moment? Is there enough to go around? Well, there isn't. So firstly, it's been a number of years now, China has reduced the exports of fertiliser, so that's certain part of the supply has been reduced. Secondly, Russia has got export bans placed by the rest of the world, and we all understand why. That's reduced a lot of fertiliser. Thirdly, there's not enough gas going into Europe, so the Europeans have stopped manufacturing fertiliser. So on the supply side, there's a big reduction. The next area is on the demand side. Demand is going up. Not just sugar, but wheat and all the other commodities around the world are in high demand. So farmers are trying to maximise their production. So all around the world, farmers are spreading more fertiliser. So there's this triple whammy going on. Cost of gas has gone up, manufacturing supply has reduced, demand has gone up. That is the reason why fertiliser prices are where they are today. So where does Australia fit into this story? We have a very vibrant industry in agriculture. Cane is leading the world in its techniques, but it's nowhere near global scale in its size. Sugar consumes only a small amount of Australia's fertiliser. And so how can we impact that? Well, we don't have a lot of impact. We are relatively small. We can't be demanding of that global supply chain of fertiliser to make a difference. The supply of fertiliser into Australia generally all comes by ship from somewhere else. Yeah, there is some local manufacturing, but it's only a small proportion. So it comes by boat from somewhere else. Organising a whole shipload of sugar is really quite difficult. You've got to sign contracts 12 months in advance. Ships need to be hired to be able to bring that fertiliser. And so within the industry, all of the wholesalers of fertiliser are trying to think 6 to 12 months in advance about where they need their fertiliser, where they want to drop it off. So there's this sort of milk run of fertiliser ships, anywhere from Geelong in Victoria all the way through to Cairns, trying to predict where the fertiliser is going to be needed on which week or which month is it going to be needed. So it's quite a complex model because it's not just about sugar, it's also about wheat. Sugar, you'd have to say, is fairly predictable. Most sugar farmers each year will spread most of their fertiliser, but we're kind of influenced by what happens in the grain industry. They go from feast to famine. They might not plant a cracker, and so they don't spread any fertiliser. So that has an impact on the ships coming across the ocean and where the ships are going to be delivering fertiliser to. The cane growers are really quite sophisticated in how they buy their fertiliser, because they get their soil tests done. They have blends, often with 3, 4, maybe 5 different elements in their fertiliser. So that's really quite a sophisticated model, where you go to a local supplier to get that blend ready for you. So if you've got a 4-pot blend, there has to be 4 products available for you. So they have to be there as well. So it's not just one ship of fertiliser that shows up with your cane special blend. All these ships come from different parts of the world. The nitrogen's probably going to come from the Middle East. The phosphorus could be coming from North Queensland or USA. The potash could be coming from South America or Canada. All these big wheels are turning, trying to get that bag of fertiliser ready for you as a farmer the day you want it. And the service that we get is excellent, because you can get whatever you like pretty much within 3 days. But there's a lot of cost associated with having that fertiliser ready for you. So how do I respond to this? I try to think of fertiliser not as a cost, but as an enabler or a productivity driver. So at the moment, sugar prices are good. How long it lasts, who knows? But at the moment they are good. So I'm thinking about how can I make the best of the current financial situation, which is good prices, how much fertiliser and what benefit is going to bring me by putting on different kinds of fertiliser, different trace elements and the like, to try to optimise my production. I'm an engineer, I'm not an agronomist. I rely quite heavily on my agronomy support from our local productivity services. They're excellent guys, they know our district, they know what is going on, they know the trends in the soil qualities. I rely on them heavily, and I have good conversations with them about what I'm doing, what I could do, and ask questions. Don't just take the results, the standard results, and blindly use them. Have a conversation with your agronomist about how you might be able to make that even better for you. You know, we spend an awful lot of money on fertiliser. It's worth having a conversation, and it's worth investing in a couple of soil tests to get the very best information you can to make the best choices that you can.
First Cut Episode 3 explores the options and tools available to assist growers to manage input costs.